Don't be discouraged because you are going to have down days. You are going to have challenges. But what I'm finding as an entrepreneur is all of those challenges, cumulative, are preparing me for these greater moments that are coming. And that's where the important part is of having your tribe around you.
Hi, I'm Adrian M. White, and with over a decade of entrepreneurship experience in launching 4 successful businesses, I know what it takes to grow your business online and live a more purpose-filled life doing the work that you most enjoy. Branding Convert is your go-to resource for branding, marketing, and entrepreneurship advice for service-based business owners looking to scale their business to 6 figures a year. This is the Brand and Convert with Adrian M. White podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Brand and Convert with Adrian M. White podcast. I'm here today for another weekly entrepreneur spotlight. Today, I have the pleasure of bringing on Hope Brown. Hope Brown is an entrepreneur, expert, and speaker on a mission to help business owners become productive and succeed beyond their wildest dreams. She's also a tax strategist, certified bookkeeper, and successful business owner in her own right. Hope established the Tax Minded Bookkeeper LLC in 2019 after consistently meeting business clients during the tax season who didn't understand their company's finances or tax related responsibilities. Growing up in a family of entrepreneurs who struggled with similar challenges, she was determined to address the knowledge gaps by finding ways to mentor with passion, purpose-driven entrepreneurs, and business owners on the path of realizing the power of knowing their numbers. Today, Hope's work as a tax strategist, bookkeeper, and speaker encourages excellence in the business world. Using her ability to explain complex concepts in easy to understand language, she's coached multiple entrepreneurs to 6 figures, teaching them to change their mindset about finances. With entrepreneurship rapidly growing in the US, she continues to be dedicated to creating an impact through her work by supporting business owners on ways to have a healthier relationship with their finances and understanding record keeping strategies that will reveal opportunities for success. Welcome, Hope. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast and being
Yes.
here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Adrian. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. So you have a jam-packed bio, which I just read. Tell us about your story. How did you get started as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur?
Yeah. So, my entrepreneur story, well, there's a present, but there's a past. So, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So, it's kind of been in my blood since I was like 6. Like, I would always create opportunities as a small child to, identify, like, okay, where was the need? Okay, develop some kind of solution to that so I could get paid. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I definitely relate.
yeah, so I learned that from like a young age, and that's
Mhm.
followed me pretty much into adulthood, and it's just kind of served me well. If we're just looking around and we notice people have problems, coming up with solutions to solve those problems is kind of like a basic fundamental step of entrepreneurship.
Awesome. So you started at a very young age, and I love that. That's very similar to me. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
was like selling like little arts and crafts projects like in elementary school, which was like the
Yeah,
start of my entrepreneurship. So that's really
yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah.
you were doing all that different things, growing up. And then, okay, so now you're an adult. How did you launch your first business? And is your current business your first business?
So no, this is actually my third business. So I mean, I'm what you would call probably a serial entrepreneur,
Mhm.
because there are just always, there's so many possibilities. Of course, you have to look at the ones that make sense to you. But launching my first business, so coming again from a family of entrepreneurs, my father was into real estate investment at a younger age, so I kind of witnessed that. So for me as an adult, that was my first kind of venture into entrepreneurship, was buying investment properties and holding on to those as a landlord. And some of those properties I even still have to this day. But I think at the time, like at my peak, I think I probably had about 15 properties that I owned and was basically renting out to tenants.
Wow.
So, yeah. But, I think a big part of entrepreneurship is being able to identify your talents and your gifts. So, one of my gifts has always been, and I don't mean this in a conceited way, but I think all of us have these God given gifts. But organization is a big thing for me, it comes easily. So, even though that sounded like a lot, in my head, it was just, you just organize everything and run it. So,
Mhm.
yep, being able to maximize that gift has really allowed me to manage that business and even the current business that I'm in.
Nice. So you're doing both,
Yeah.
currently.
Yes, I am. I am.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
For that first business that you started, did
Mhm.
you have anybody, like, on your team or anybody that was helping you with it?
Definitely owning properties. I mean, so that's another big key of success, being a successful entrepreneur. Like, you don't have to go it alone. So I definitely so from a management perspective, I pretty much was doing that on my own, but to help me maintain those properties and be able to manage the account activities and things, I had a team of 2 people. So I had a maintenance person who just kind of worked for me and basically was in charge of the toilets running. Okay, send the guy out or whatever. And then I had someone who was really good at the time. I guess we would call that person a virtual assistant now, but that
Mhm.
person was helping me be able to manage the accounts, making sure that the rents were coming in, taking calls from the tenants, that type of thing. But you
Mhm.
got to surround yourself with the right people for sure.
Mhm.
Yep.
Definitely. Awesome. How did you find, that team? Because I've been getting a lot of questions recently on, like, how to build a team, how to start with, finding people to help.
Yeah, I'm a referrals gal. So, like, if I see somebody, if I mean, I ask around in my network.
Mhm.
That's the first that I do. So if I can't find the person in the network that I need to be able to work with, then I will go outside of the network and do things like Yelp, or other referral sources where I can get a review. But it's essential. I have to have some kind of frame of reference on what level of quality that person's service or team, or business service is going to be, if that makes
Mhm.
any sense. Yeah.
Okay. I love that you use like a referral process and Yelp. Do you have any strategies for people that are entrepreneurs that are trying to build their team? Like, where do they start in that process?
Yeah, building your team. So I'm doing that now with my bookkeeping and tax business because I'm at the point of where I've expanded. I can't do all the work by myself anymore.
Mhm.
So, I mean, again, I'm starting within my network. That has just worked for me in different business models or when I talk to other entrepreneurs to give them this advice. I started my own network to find people who have done successfully what I need like done. For example, if I need a project manager, I mean, I've done that type of work myself, when I work for the federal government. So I can kind of reach out to those people or that expertise to
Mhm.
see if either they themselves are available or if they have someone they would recommend with that expertise. And again, if that is not available, then now we have the luxury of having these networking groups on Facebook, other professional networking groups. I will go out to those groups and say, hey, I need a junior bookkeeper. Know of anybody? And a lot of times I'll be able to get referrals using that source as well too. Yeah, but
Nice.
definitely lean on the people in the community around you who are doing what you do,
Mhm.
to share their experiences on how they're getting, assistance successfully has
Mhm.
gone a long way for me using that strategy.
Nice. I
Mhm.
I really like that. And when you said junior bookkeeper, it made me think about one of my friends who also has
Mhm.
a bookkeeping business and how she's like, I need help, but I don't know how to find the right
Oh
person that's,
my god.
going to be able to
Network.
do what she's looking for. So once you've done all of that and you've gotten
Mhm.
a lot of candidates, what's your
Mhm.
interview process like? And how do you select the right candidate?
So normally, so you got to think about this. So even for my real estate investment business, and definitely for my bookkeeping or tax preparation business, you are going to have someone, that person who's working for you. Number one, they're going to represent you as a company. They're going to be, in probably some cases, maybe be the face of the company. So
Mhm.
I think that you want to do your due diligence and vet that person directly just to get an idea of what their personality is like, talk to them, just really ask them questions. I mean, I like different what if situations just to kind of see off the cuff what their responses are to those. But again, because in my case, especially the financial case, I'm dealing with people who are dealing with other people's financial information. I have to do like the background check, the criminal check, and all those kind of checks as well too.
Mhm.
Just to vet people, just to make sure that they are 100 on top of just even the normal reference checks that we do,
Yeah.
because you just don't want to introduce any type of element like that in that business model for sure. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Have you ever had to, fire or let go of someone before?
Yeah, I have, because, it's not if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. Normally, I will try to work with a person unless it's just something just blatant. Okay, some things you just can't, you deserted me, what, 3 weeks ago. I can't reach you. It is what
Right.
it is, and then you show back up. Okay, I can't do that because 'cause we're
Right.
too busy. But if it is, maybe there are some things that just need to be worked on or remediated, like, we can work with that. But if it just gets to the point of where we've tried everything and it's just not gonna work out, I'm just gonna have to have that conversation. I try to do that myself. I don't, like I know that we're such a technology based, like world at this point, but I
Mhm.
I would have a face to face conversation with a person and talk to them and let them know why, like what's happening. So if anything, hopefully they can take some experience away from this. If it was something on their end of
Mhm.
why, it had to happen, or maybe it's something on my end where my model of business is just changing and
Mhm.
they are not a good fit anymore. I
Mhm.
try to give people something for closure and constructive that they can take forward with them.
Are they when you're hiring your team, are you hiring them as employees or contractors?
Primarily now contractors. Yes.
What do you feel like are the benefits,
Mhm.
of hiring them as a contractor versus a part-time or full-time employee?
Because
Benefit for you, for
Yeah,
your
exactly.
organization.
So, having employees is a whole nother level of responsibility and compliance that I
Mhm.
have to look at from a business owner perspective.
Mhm.
So, and I'm not saying that I won't eventually do that for some of my key positions, but for now, it's just offering me the flexibility. Like, for example, with bookkeeping or tax preparation, we have peak seasons. So, of course, between really now and like April 15th, we're going through different peak seasons of
Mhm.
work and activity. But after April 15th, like tax preparation diminishes significantly for me. So
Mhm.
where I might need 3 people now, I won't need 3 people after April 15th. I can handle pretty much that workload. But then so it allows me the flexibility to staff up and staff down when I need it for my business. And like I said too, for compliance reasons, there are payroll compliance, labor regulation compliance. There's a whole list of different things for compliance reasons that for some of these positions, I don't, as a business owner, like I say, it's just easier for me to do the contracting and I'll be growing into that, but I don't have to grow into those levels yet, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That
Yep.
makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Alright, so we've talked about the first business that you started.
Mhm.
So the business that you are doing now, the bookkeeping business, was that your 2nd or 3rd business you started?
So this is my 3rd business that I've started.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get into, what you do now? And tell us all about what you do.
So coming back from my childhood, I mentioned that I came from a family of entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
So my dad owned his own business in Washington, D.C. The man, God bless his soul, he definitely was a mover and shaker. But one slight flaw that my dad had was money management growing up. Love him
I
to
mean,
death.
yeah, to be honest, especially in the
Yeah.
African American community, that's typically a struggle.
Go figure. But anyway, witnessing that as a kid and growing up into knowing that I wanted to be like my own business owner, that was just one area that I was not going to be like the weekend, like on purpose. Like if I need to go to school, if I need to get degrees, whatever I need to do to know my numbers.
Mhm.
So as part of that know my numbers journey, tax regulation, tax law was a big part of it for me, especially when I first became a landlord and just understanding better what I could write off for tax benefits and things like that. I really got kind of like, like someone on the other table telling me all the stuff. I wanted to kind of know for my own self. It just fascinated me. So I became a tax preparer. I worked for chains like H&R Block, Intuit, those type of things for about 9 years. But during that time, I would always meet business owners who were never ready for tax services. Like all of their financials would be just like not organized. And unfortunately, we would be sitting there and trying to do in 2 hours a whole year's worth of bookkeeping. They would be missing
Mm,
out on tremendous opportunities for tax savings. So
mhm,
slowly but surely, a lot of those clients would ask me, like, okay, so you know this stuff, like help us during the year, really organize our finances, our bookkeeping. And I started doing that for a few clients. And then let me tell you, after the pandemic time and like that increase in this country of entrepreneurs and small businesses that started, business just boomed. And I officially opened the doors for my business, which is a tax minded bookkeeper. I haven't looked back, and things have been just going tremendous at this point. Yeah, that's a little bit about how I got from there to here and starting
That's
working on the third business.
that's awesome. So your tax-minded bookkeeping business is a six-figure business, correct?
Yes, yes, it is. I'm so
Do you
proud
feel like there were anything
of.
congratulations.
Mhm.
Do you feel like there were any specific marketing things that you did or even branding things that you did that led your business to grow to six figures?
I think a big part of the shift that I saw, and I'm gonna be honest with you. So I have my official business is Brown Business Solutions, okay,
Okay.
LLC. But when I made that shift to do a DBA as the tax minded bookkeeper under that business, it was like people used to ask me, "Okay, what do you do? What does your business do?" Like, people don't ask me that anymore. Like, they know that bookkeeping is, a primary part of my business. I kept the tax portion in it because I am looking at your bookkeeping during the year from a tax perspective or tax-minded perspective,
Mhm.
and that was just it for me. So, like I said, just helping my audience, my potential audience, understand just by the name what services I could add, what kind of value I could bring them was a game changer for me, like immediately.
Just
Uh,
from the name of the
just from the
business.
name change, just from the so, Brown Business Solutions, I mean, it was doing great, but the tax-minded bookkeeper.
I'm sure you're enjoying this episode, but I wanted to quickly pop in to let you know about how you can grow your service based business to six figures a year today by learning how to better market it online. Join my exclusive membership community, Marketing Maintenance, for as little as $49 a month and learn how to develop and implement effective online marketing strategies that bring in more leads while also keeping your WordPress website protected and up to date. This program includes website updates, site maintenance, monthly marketing trainings, one on one marketing strategy meetings, and marketing deliverable creation. Join today at marketingandmaintenance.com.
But the tax-minded bookkeeper, I started to see a big shift once that happened. So,
Mhm.
I don't know if that was a combination of people, which is the next thing for marketing, referrals. Business was growing, and I was starting to get a lot of word of mouth referrals as well too,
Okay.
which I think definitely helped it. But using social media, definitely IG, LinkedIn, Facebook, my Facebook group, all of those things definitely had a lot to do with business just slowly growing over the last 2.5 years, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about your typical kind of marketing strategy that you're doing right now. I know you mentioned social media. So
Mhm.
what do you have a specific strategy for social media and email and any other,
Yeah, so
marketing
right
channels?
now, so for the most part, I have a mailing list that I'm using now. I'll be honest with you, most of the people who I'm getting to sign up to that email list at this point are small business owners. So I'm doing marketing and mailing out to them. So just kind of basic stuff. Now, I have some goals in mind for 2023. I do want to start a podcast with tax and bookkeeping information, but then also bring in, because my business, my primary business during the year is entrepreneurs and small business owners, but I want to bring in more resources for them that I can end up, helping them out during the year. Because that's another thing too. You're dealing with people's money, they trust you. So they're always
Mhm.
asking you for referrals. But I'd love to be able to bring in specialists to that podcast or maybe that virtual video, like platform to be able to share more information with people.
Mhm.
The second thing I'm going to be doing towards the end of this year, and I definitely into 2023, is I'm going to be doing more lives where I'm sharing information about just strategy that people should be doing during a year, prepare for bookkeeping and also their tax services so that their tax person loves them. Your tax person will be so happy to see you and not like, "Oh, here's that guy," So, but yeah, but those are some of the ways that I'm looking to brand more marketing efforts. I think the goal is still providing people valuable information, but still getting my name out there as well too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
For your email list, how did you grow your email list?
Oh, God. Probably most of it is word of mouth. But then also from my tax business, I had already customers. So definitely the customers during last tax season when I was actually interacting with them, just
Mhm.
asking them on the spot, okay, listen, we're coming to the end of the season, where okay, your taxes are done or whatever. Like, let's stay in contact during the year. Join my mailing list, and I can keep you up to date on whatever's happening from the tax arena or the bookkeeping arena. And people did that. So, but then also during the off season, I'm doing a lot of speaking, like engagements out in public. So that's another opportunity for me to reach people and grow it at that point too. Other than like the Facebook groups and from website mailings and things like that, or social media postings.
Mhm.
So it's probably a combination of more customer engagement, direct customer engagement, but then also people being allowed to download like information about that can help them hopefully from a business perspective. And I'm capturing their email then that way on their list, on the list. I mean,
So let's say well, not let's say, there's a someone that's in the tax, preparation or bookkeeping business that is just launching their small business. Do you have any, kind of words of advice for them on how they can try and grow their business to six figures sooner rather than later?
yeah, so definitely identify who your client is. Who's going to be your client? That was kind of great for me initially. So I had to figure out, like, okay, so, I'm an ideas person. So I had to harness my little ideas, and get them compacted. So I put together a business plan. And that really helped me really hone down and narrow the scope of what I wanted to do with this business. It probably saved my life in this business, to be honest with you, by really helping me to just hone in and magnify in on what services I wanted to offer, who the client base was going to be, pricing options, doing my market research to see who else was out there, thinking about my financials, doing your projections for the first year or two, just to kind of understand what type of funds you're going to need to support that vision that you're creating. Those were definitely all important steps, that I would say anybody who is trying to establish a business and grow it successfully over the first couple of years, you need to have that business plan in place just to help you clarify. Because things you think that you want to do in your business, is nothing like sitting down, actually writing them down. And
Right.
that's a living document. It doesn't just stop there. So I write the business plan, that's it. So every year, annually, I revisit that document to also put in plans for the next year, for example, just to
Mhm.
keep me focused as I move forward in time.
Nice. Did you have a template that you followed, like a business plan template?
I think so. I had a business coach initially who kind of geared me in the right direction, but also there is an organization called SCORE. I think
Mm,
probably a lot of business owners, entrepreneur business owners are familiar with that. But
yeah.
if you, SCORE has plenty of templates that you can download from business plans to actual financial templates, those type of things that you'll be able to take advantage of. Also, there is a free program called Operation Hope. You can Google that, but they do free 8-week entrepreneur training. I would
Mm,
advise something like that would be something that If I would have known about it up front, I did it later on just to kind of, because I like, before I send people the things, I like to kind of experience it for myself. But I went through that program also. But that program kind of walks the applicants through, or the cohort through, actually putting together that business plan. And it was great. You got to be among other people who are business owners, and then helping you create that structure for your own business along the way during that 8-week session. Was pretty good program.
I love that. I was over here writing down operational, like look into it because
Yeah.
I didn't even know that that existed. The
Yeah.
name sounded familiar, but I didn't know that that is what
Yeah.
they,
Yeah,
um,
that's the
yeah.
other thing too. So always be expanding, like your knowledge base with entrepreneurship, because anytime I can find a program that is entrepreneur based, I try to get involved with that, because you think and you probably do know a lot, but it's always good to surround yourself by that entrepreneur energy,
Mhm.
because anybody who runs a business on their own they will tell you, a lot of it, we're in a world of W2 people. So a lot of times, I don't think it's that they want to be a dream killer, but you want to be around other entrepreneurs who are focusing on growing their business, and it just helps inspire you too. You guys can inspire each other. So I always try to stay connected with those kind of programs for sure, just
Yeah.
to kind of keep my enlightenment going as a business owner, and also to give back, because people are giving to me, they're sowing in me, but I want to find opportunities to sow into other people too as they grow and establish their businesses for sure.
Yeah, I love that. When I first went full time as an entrepreneur in
Mhm.
2019, I realized that it was a very lonely journey initially because I didn't know how to get connected to other entrepreneurs that were doing things similar.
Yeah.
I hired a business coach who had a network of, similar
Mhm,
entrepreneurs
mhm.
as me. And that was like the first way I got connected to them. But I've
Yeah.
heard of that being just an ongoing issue where sometimes it can be challenging to find other entrepreneurs or people that relate to the challenges that you go through in entrepreneurship.
It can be a lonely journey. So you have,
Mhm.
normally in a traditional W2 type situation, you're going in, you're connected with people, but
Right.
a lot of
And
small business.
everybody we know, like, well, not everybody, but the majority of people we know are working for a company, and they understand what that life is like. But me
Yeah.
personally, I didn't know many entrepreneurs.
Yeah, but those kind of groups, it even goes back to your first question of like, okay, so how do you find people who work for you? But
Mhm.
when you're connected in those kind of groups, they're trying to do the same thing that you're doing,
Mhm.
from even hiring contractors to employees or whatever. Like everybody's trying to figure it out. But to have combined brain power to figure it out together, or to say, hey, I tried this and this work, or hey, I tried this and it didn't work. Like that stuff is gold.
Yeah.
You can't even learn that stuff in school, the kind of experience you're going to get from those groups.
Definitely. Are there any other groups that you recommend that we kind of get connected to if we're looking to, meet other like-minded entrepreneurs?
What I would suggest is, it depends on what your actual, I mean, I'm a network, like I'll probably network with too many groups to be honest with you. But some of the best groups that I've been able to become a part of are is just going on Eventbrite. I'm sure everybody's heard of that service, and just putting in the word entrepreneur, and you'll see a lot of groups who are having different events,
Mhm.
whether local or remote or whatever. And I normally will try to attend one or two events, see if I can get a good feel or energy from it. And if it's some group that, okay, I like this, normally if they have some type of membership or networking opportunity, I will make like a full-time commitment to it. But that's how I've been able to find some great groups to network with just overall in my journey for sure.
Love that. Have you
Yeah.
ever tried meetup.com?
Yeah, I have.
Have you
Especially.
done any of their entrepreneur groups?
Yeah, I have. I mean, nothing comes to mind. So I've been doing more of the Eventbrite ones just because I like the format of those. But
Mhm.
and especially with COVID, a lot of the meetup groups, they want to do stuff in person or whatever. Maybe it's changed a little bit since in the last year. So I haven't really been on there. But there were one or two like co-working type situations
Mm.
that I was able to take advantage of and meet up too. I mean, I say just go, like just put yourself out there, whether it's Eventbrite, Meetup, or some other source. Like,
Mhm.
I even ask other entrepreneurs, okay, so what are you doing? Like, as professional development, what kind of groups are you connecting yourself with?
Mhm.
And take that cue from them. Do they like it? One of the things I remember discussing with my business coach a couple of months ago is that there are so many groups out here after a certain point. Like, how do you know which ones to choose from after a certain point? And she was just like, she made a good point. She was just saying which ones are going to be value added to your business, to whatever you're trying to do. And
Mhm.
that helped me kind of narrow down my focus. So that's kinda where I am now.
That's
And
awesome.
I hate to say this as women, like, as women, we have even there are some wonderful women support groups out here. I think that we're nurturers and supporters by just nature. So, definitely, Womb comes to mind. That's one of the groups that I've been, associated with. There's a women's Christian business group that I've been associated with. I've done some of their meetups locally here in DC, some other ones. I've even like networked with a group out in Arizona. Like they do virtual stuff, but it's out there. Like you can connect and you can meet some wonderful people who can definitely help you on your entrepreneur journey for sure.
Awesome. That you gave us a lot of gems there. And then, what's so funny? I'm on Eventbrite like all the time for just social stuff
Mhm.
and events. And I've never thought of going there to find like entrepreneur groups and stuff, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I really
No, I'm
like
a
that
super nerd. So I'm
idea.
outing
You're like
myself.
type of entrepreneur ever.
It's like, yeah. But yeah, definitely. I'll have to send you some. I mean, so if I'm seeing groups, I'll send them to you like later on now that we're connected for sure. Just
Definitely, definitely.
keep you in the cool people loop.
And I'll share it with the network, the podcast
Beautiful.
network as well. We
Wonderful,
get some good
wonderful.
ones.
Okay.
So we are just about at time, but I wanted to see if you had any final like words of advice for entrepreneurs that are trying to get out there and really market and brand their business better.
Yeah, so I think I've dropped a lot of gems on just how I do my own business, but I think the main thing for me that I've had to deal with, even in all of my successes, I still periodically have to deal with this. Just remember what goes down will come back up. One of my favorite sayings is quotes is by Nelson Mandela. Until it's done, it seems impossible or whatever. But
Hmm.
just the main point I'm trying to say is just don't give up. Like, don't be discouraged because you are going to have down days. You are going to have challenges. But what I'm finding as an entrepreneur is all of those challenges cumulative are preparing me for these greater moments that are coming up. So,
Hmm.
and that's where the important part is of having your tribe around you, having people who you can pick up that phone or email or IM or whatever your choice of communication is to say, listen, just had one of the worst days in my business life. And just remembering what your purpose and what you're trying to do, just staying true to that and not being discouraged by just the lower points.
Hmm.
That's really important because they will happen, but remember, like I said, it's all preparing you for that greater part of the journey. Nothing goes wasted.
Love it. Well, Hope, thank you so much for being here today. Please share how people can get connected to you, get in touch with you after this if they're interested in learning more.
Yeah, so definitely, I'm on IG. I am the tax-minded bookkeeper right there in my little wording. So it's obvious there. But you also can feel free to reach me out. My website is bbizsolution.com. That's B as in boy, B as in boy, IZ solution.com. And those are two ways to reach me. Definitely one or the other. You'll be able to reach me by get my information for telephone or either email consult. And I do, especially this time of year, everybody's trying to get ready for the tax season. I will say, just in general, whether you're a business owner or someone in a business, like just start preparing for the tax season, just getting organized. Just get that folder ready for all that information that you got to get together. Don't wait till the last minute. Just
Mhm.
start working on it now. It might be some things that need to be taken care of before December 31st. You still have some time if you know about it, so don't hesitate to reach out to your tax preparer, your bookkeeper to help you get straight, or just start digging in yourself just to get organized and everything ready for next year.
Thank you. Very helpful information.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. I look forward to staying connected. I didn't mention this earlier. I forgot to mention this earlier, but Hope and I attend the same church, and we actually were in the same women's discipleship class together. It was like an
Mhm,
18-month course.
mhm.
We were in at different times, but we have that sisterhood
Small
of
world.
being a Queen Esther sister. So please get connected to Hope if you're interested in learning more about her services. And Hope, just thank you for being here today and sharing all of your great information with our audience.
So,
All right. Have a good one.
all righty. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. You made it to the end. We have more amazing episodes coming up just like this one on the Brand and Convert with Adrian and White podcast. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at brandwithamw and learn more about working with me at brandwithamw.com. People always ask me how I scaled my business to 6 figures per year and now work full-time in my purpose. After a decade of being an entrepreneur and launching 4 successful businesses, I know what it takes to get your service-based business to 6 figures per year quickly. Start booking higher paying clients, automating your processes, and clarifying your messaging in my free training, 5 strategies my clients are using to develop brands, websites, and processes that grow 6-figure businesses. Secure your seat today at training.brandwithamw.com. See you there.